Hello, friends. Today we will travel back in time to follow the amazing journey of Marco Polo, one of the most famous explorers in history. Marco Polo traveled from Venice in Italy all the way to China, more than 700 years ago. He saw new countries, cultures, and treasures, and he brought stories that help people in Europe understand the world. In this story, we will learn new words in context. Travel with Marco Polo step by step. Imagine beautiful scenes from history. Are you ready? Let's go on this adventure together. Marco Polo was born in 1254 in the city of Venice, a beautiful city in Italy. Venice is famous for its canals, streets filled with water instead of cars. People travel in boats called gondolas. Marco's family were merchants, people who buy and sell goods. They were very successful, trading silk, spices, and precious stones from the East. From a young age, Marco saw the ships coming from other countries, full of treasures and stories. Venice was a busy city. The markets were full of people from around the world. You could hear many languages and see many types of clothing. Marco loved to watch the merchants trading. He often helped his father and uncle in the shop, learning the language of trade. One day, Marco's father, Niccolo Polo, returned from a trip to the east with exciting news. He spoke of a great empire ruled by Kublai Khan in China. Marco listened carefully and dreamed about visiting this faraway land. Marco knew that traveling to China would be difficult. He needed to learn about languages, cultures, and geography. He studied maps and practiced using a compass to find directions. His father told him about the goods they would see on the way: silk, spices, porcelain, and jewels. Marco wanted to understand everything so he could trade wisely and safely. Before leaving, Marco packed supplies for many months. He brought cloth, food, tools, and gifts for the rulers they would meet. Marco also prepared mentally, learning patience, courage, and respect for other cultures. Finally, the day came to leave Venice. Families waved farewell as Marco, his father, and his uncle boarded their ship. The sea was calm at first, and the city looked small behind them. The voyage was exciting but also dangerous. Storms could sink ships, and pirates sometimes attacked travelers. Marco watched the horizon, thinking about the long journey ahead. As they sailed through the Mediterranean Sea, Marco began to feel the thrill of adventure. He knew that every new place would teach him something new. After weeks at sea, Marco's ship arrived in Constantinople, a great city between Europe and Asia. They saw fortresses, markets, and colorful streets. Marco learned to greet people in many languages. From Constantinople, the Polo family traveled through Persia and other lands. They rode camels through deserts and crossed mountains. They visited bazaars where people sold spices, fabrics, and jewelry. The journey was not easy. They faced heat, thirst, and bandits. But Marco remained curious and brave. Every new city and town was an adventure. The Polo family traveled along the Silk Road, a long route connecting Europe and China. They crossed mountain passes, stopping at oases to rest. Traveling was dangerous. Bandits sometimes attacked travelers, and weather could be harsh. Marco learned to read the stars at night, use maps, and travel safely with a caravan. Despite the dangers, Marco loved learning about different people, their food, clothes, and languages. He recorded everything carefully so he could tell others about his journey. After many years, Marco finally saw China. He was amazed by the cities, rivers, and palaces. People wore colorful clothes, and the streets were full of merchants selling porcelain, silk, and spices. The Emperor of China, Kublai Khan, ruled a vast empire. Marco was welcomed at the court and invited to share stories of Europe. China was very different from Venice. Marco saw pagodas, large gardens, and beautiful bridges. Every day brought new wonders. Marco became a guest at Kublai Khan's court. He traveled with the emperor, served as an ambassador, and learned Chinese customs. He attended banquets with exotic foods, watched ceremonies, and wrote detailed notes. He admired the emperor's knowledge and fairness. The court had scholars, artists, and generals, all working together. Marco realized that China was advanced in science, trade, and culture. Marco traveled inside China to visit cities, rivers, and markets. He saw the Great Wall which protected the empire. He observed farmers, merchants, and artisans at work. He recorded every detail: the foods, clothes, buildings, and festivals. Marco learned how the Chinese made paper, silk, and porcelain. He shared his knowledge with the emperor and helped with trade routes. After 17 years, Marco decided to return home. The journey back was long and difficult. They traveled through deserts, mountains, and foreign lands. Marco thought about everything he had learned and seen. He had brought back treasures, knowledge, and amazing stories to share with Europe. He realized that travel could be dangerous, but it also taught him courage, patience, and curiosity. When Marco returned to Venice, he told stories about his travels. People were amazed by his tales of China, the emperor, and distant lands. He wrote a book with the help of a writer, sharing everything he had seen. Europeans learned about silk, spices, paper, and porcelain, and the world felt much bigger. Marco Polo inspired many explorers, including Christopher Columbus, who dreamed of new lands. Friends, Marco Polo's journey shows us the power of curiosity and courage. He traveled far from home, learned about new cultures, and shared his knowledge with the world. Remember, you don't have to travel far to explore. You can read, imagine, and learn about other countries and people. History is full of adventures waiting for you.